Om Durjana Sajjano Bhuyat Sajjana Shanti Mapnuyat Shanto Mucceta Bandebhyo Muktaschanyan Vimochayet. O Lord, please bless every being on this creature. May all the wicked people be transformed into righteous people. May all the righteous people may attain the peace. The people who have attained the peace may strive for God realization. The people who have seen the ultimate truth may help other aspirants to experience the ultimate truth. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, as you all know today, we are trying to, sorry, we are trying to recapitulate of few classes of Narada's Bhakti Sutras. Around maybe 25 to 30 classes we have done on Narada's Bhakti Sutras. That is Narada's aphorisms on divine love. So we are at the end of this topic discussion. So now we shall try to understand the entire book in a summary form, whatever we try to discuss till today. As already I told in my previous class or in my first class, that Narada is known for his great devotion, for his divine love. He himself was the greatest devotee. He has sacrificed his life, or he has surrendered his life, his body, his mind, everything to the divine will, or to the divine, or to the God. He himself comes from very small, rural background, where his mother was a housemaid, poor from forest, but still he used to serve lot of saints. Since he served many saints and he received their blessings, as a result, the devotion came in him and he went into the forest. He practiced lot of penances and he did lot of meditation for hours together, meditation, and he had the vision of the God. And in the next birth, he was born as the creator God, Brahma's mental child, Manasaputra. And he went to the state of Devarshi, that is called celestial sage. What a beautiful thing it is. Sage itself is a great thing and is a celestial sage. What did this celestial stage means? One who has found out the truth and he has got divine qualities and he has got lot of divine powers. Not only that, he is able to travel in his subtle body or in his physical body to the all the worlds. There are so many above worlds apart from this earth or this universe or materialistic world where we are living. We are so many above worlds and so many below worlds. All these worlds he was able to travel. That's why he's called Devarshi. Means you can understand how great he was. It was not came simply. It didn't come simply for him. Because of his sadhana, because of his devotion, because of his spiritual practices, he attained to that stage. That means any one of us can reach to these wonderful stages even today by spiritual practices. That's what we can understand. Such a great celestial sage Narada has written 84 aphorisms, sutras on divine love, bhakti. Sutra means it is a thread form. It has written in the as much as possible concised form or in a capsule form. This is a sort of suggestion for remembrance. So already they will have the ideas, philosophy, and understandings. These sutras were sort of suggestions or remember for their remembering. And his guru was the greatest person who was Sanat Kumara. And all the traditional scriptures in India, Indian philosophy, if you see, all they starts from Athato. Just like this whole world has been emerged from the Omkara, Pranava. So similarly, even the as good as Omkara, one more the auspicious word is there that is called Atha. So that's why many sutras or many works they will start from Atha. Atha means what? Here Atha means one is Mangalartha. It is the symbol of auspiciousness. The other is after acquiring the competency to study and understand what is devotion. So, who is competent? One who has got competency, they are saying. Who has got competency? The author says further, and the other devotional authors of devotional scriptures, they have said anyone can take the path of devotion. There is no need of competency. Unlike the path of Gnana, the path of psychic control, that is Raja Yoga, there you need a lot of competencies. But in Bhakti Yoga, you don't need any competency. If you got desire for God realization, desire for living the life for higher values, for higher power, seeking higher realms, that's enough. And for such a person to help, we are trying to define what is bhakti. And he gives beautiful definitions about the divine love. One is Parama Prema Rupa. It is of the nature of supreme love. So this Parama Prema Rupa is supreme love is dividing or it is classifying from the worldly love. We love parents, we love children, we love husband, wife, lover, worldly things, worldly possessions, name, fame, power, position, all these things. So all that is considered as devotion then? No. They're all empirical love. When it comes to spiritual love, that is love towards divine, love towards God. So Parama Prema Rupa, by using the word, just one word, adjective, Parama, that is differentiating from the early worldly love. Then, by this devotion, what happens? He becomes Amrita Swarupa. I mean, what is the nature of this devotion? If you ask, it is Amrita Swarupa. It is of the nature of immortality. It is of the nature of supreme love, and it is of the nature of the immortality. Then, by practicing such supreme love towards God, what happens? Siddha Bhavati. He becomes perfect. Now I became a millionaire. Will it give a perfection for me? May not. I get name, fame, power, position. I can have all worldly possessions. Materialistic prosperity I will have. It is not that I will become perfect. But here the author is saying, by attaining the devotion, by getting the supreme devotion, you get Siddha Bhavati. You becomes perfect. Then, not only you become perfect, Amrita Bhavati, you become immortal. Means no more birth and no more death. Even if I am the topmost, richest person in the world, if so, after death, again I have to take the birth. But by practicing devotion, and if you reach the final goal of the devotion, that is God realization, then you will become immortal, no more birth and death. And the third is Truptaha Bhavati. You become ever satisfied. Earlier, I was thinking if I have got a square meal every day and a house to live and a few little pennies or few euros to take care of my expenses, that was enough. Then afterwards, I thought, no, I should have a vehicle and further petrol or diesel and all other things. I got it. Then I thought, no, I should go for higher end car. I got it. Then fine, but not only this, I should have my house in a prime location, which should be accessible and easy for all the things. So like that, desires or wants or wishes keeps on increasing. But once you get this devotion, you will be ever satisfied. You don't long for anything. You don't crave for anything. You become ever contented. That's why the next he says the fruits of devotion is na kinchit vanchati. You become ever since you become ever satisfied person. You don't crave for anything else. Money, power, position, name and fame, all these things, how much ever you get, you crave for more actually, most of us. But when you get devotion, you don't crave for anything and you will be ever satisfied. What a beautiful state that is, isn't it? And nashochati, no sorrow. The moment I get become millionaire, billionaire, don't think that I'm against acquiring the property or acquiring the wealth. I'm not against it. Only I'm telling the few other effects, side effects of it. I've got now million euros, but I will have a fear sometimes. Maybe because of tax problem, or people can steal my money, or I may lose the money in my business or whatnot. So no, somehow or other there can be a sorrow, a tinge of sorrow is there. But here, nashochati. One who has got the devotion, he doesn't cry, he's not sorrowful. Nadveshti, no hatred. Sometimes in business or in offices, we hate each other because of our own reasons or our own defects. Here, he doesn't hate. Naramate, naramante. And he's not indulging in sense pleasures. Now, utsahi bhavati. And is also not very much interested in getting new things or trying to acquire new things and busy in acquiring new things. Instead of that, Atmarama Bhavati, he finds joy in oneself. Someone finds joy in mobile, someone finds joy in vehicle, someone finds joy in traveling, someone finds joy in working. So without that, they can't exist. They feel that their existence is like in them or in that. But this devotee, he feels that he doesn't need anything else. Square meal probably enough, or two sets of clothes. He is contented with himself. He doesn't need anything. Means there is no external dependence much. Of course, if he's living in the world, he needs food, he needs clothing, he needs shelter, no doubt. I mean, the basic necessities. Other than the basic necessities, he doesn't depend on the world. But whereas we are depending on the world too much sometimes. And how this devotion can be achieved, if you say, you will ask, you have to practice what? The God conscious life, God centered life. God is there, divine is there, divine power is there. So we should understand, we should try to understand, and we should try to practice the God centered life. Swami Brahmanandaji was the first president of the Ramakrishna order. He gives a beautiful practical example. As soon as you get up, you try to remember God. And before going to bed, as much as possible, you try to remember God. And not only that, any action you start doing, say for an example, we go to office. Before starting work, you try to remember God. Once you finish your office work and you are leaving to house, then you remember the God. And in between, whatever is possible, how much ever is possible, try to remember the God. So that slowly, the God remembrance can be increased. And whenever, wherever, however if you remember, then you should keep on trying to remember the God, repeat his name, repeat his glories or whatnot. And also he says we should give up as much as possible worldly desires. Living in the world is not bad, but the worldliness should not be there. This is what Sri Ramakrishna says. He gives a beautiful example. The boat is in the water, no problem. The water should not be in the boat. Then if the water enters so much in the boat, slowly boat sinks. So similarly, if I or you, we are living in this world, mundane world, empirical world, no problem. But the world should not live in us. Means the worldliness should not live in us. That's what the author is also trying to tell. And he also says that how much ever we are rational, how much ever we are scientific, how much ever we say that we are advanced, but from the scriptural point of view, from the spiritual life point of view, from the devotional life point of view, initially we have to follow the scriptural injunctions. Why? Because it curbs our instincts. It checks our, what you say, weakness of the mind, restlessness of the mind. Just like when small plants are there. Probably we need to put a fence. Otherwise, sometimes cows or ox or some goat or sheep can come and eat. But once it becomes a big tree, then there is no need of it. Instead of them, we can tie this cow or goat or sheep to the tree itself. So, similarly, when we are starting spiritual life, our mind is not under our control, our senses are not under our control, our desires, we are not able to control our desires. So that we need a rule, we need a guide map, we need a route map. For that, scriptures can be the best guide or best route map. Just like today, in today's world, we use GPS safely, we use GPS and we go from one place to another. So similarly to the destination God, the best GPS is can be the scriptures according to the Narada. And he, after explaining this, Narada takes different definitions of devotion. He says that according to Vyasa, one of the greatest sage, according to the Vyasa, what is bhakti? It is attraction towards the worship. We have to worship the Lord by offering some flowers, sandal paste, or by uttering mantras, hymns, by chanting hymns, and by probably can do even mental worship or whatever. So the whatever the devotion can be translated into action in the worship. So the attraction towards worship is devotion according to Vyasa. Then Garga, according to one more sage, Garga, he defines the devotion as attraction for stories of God's divine play. This is what Leela Dhyana yesterday and yesterday class and the previous Saturday's class we have discussed about all these things in meditation on divine forms. Then Shandilya, one more sage, he defines devotion as God's devotion to God's as one's own self. Just like I love myself, so similarly there is no distinction between God and me. So I should think that I should love God so much so loving myself. And Narada says that these are the different definitions of bhakti according to other sages, but according to me, surrendering oneself, surrendering oneself and one's actions to God, and feeling extremely anguish if I have forgotten about the God. I forget about the God. I should feel extremely anguish. That is what devotion according to Artha. One is God's remembrance or surrendering, surrendering the fruits of action, surrendering oneself, sharanagati to the God. And the second is we should feel pain if I am not able to remember the God. This is what uh, devotion according to the Narada. So basically, love towards God, love of God is very, very important. And after this, he makes one beautiful point that bhakti is superior to other paths. Why? Bhakti is the means and end in itself. One reason. The second reason is bhakti is the easiest path compared to the path of gnana, the path of psychic control, Raja Yoga, Gnana Yoga, Karma Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is the easiest and it is natural path. That's why. That's why Bhakti Yoga is superior. Even the Sri Ramakrishna, he also says that in this Kali Yuga, Naradiya Bhakti Sutra is much more suitable and easy. It is better to practice. And on the broad canvas, what happens in Karma Yoga? In Karma Yoga, we do exercise of will. And what we do in Jnana Yoga? We do the exercise of intellect and reason. And what do we do in Bhakti Yoga? We do exercise of emotions. So emotional maturity we get from Bhakti Yoga. So when he says Bhakti is superior, he means Bhakti, Parabhakti, supreme devotion is superior, he's telling, not as a Bhakti Yoga. So if you see from the summary point of view, from shloka number 1 to 6, he speaks of what is supreme devotion and its meaning. And from shlokas number 7 to 14, he says that we should renounce everything, we should give up everything for the sake of supreme devotion. And in 15 to 24 slokas, he explains different definitions and he also gives the examples of supreme devotion. Like he gives the examples of Gopikas, of Vrindavan, how they were obsessed always about the Krishna's conscious or Krishna's thought. They never bothered about the food, they never bothered about the sleep, they never bothered about the work or whatever. They were always thinking about Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So much, their whole mind was overtaken by, filled with Krishna's thoughts. While cooking, while working, while milking the cow, while carrying the milk, and curds for the Mathura. All the time they were thinking about Krishna completely. And in the 25th sloka, how bhakti is superior to other paths has been explained. Now, in the shloka number 30 to 33, he discusses whether bhakti is an independent means or dependent means on gnana for liberation. Every author or every acharya, every sage tries to tell gnana yoga is superior, bhakti yoga is superior, karma yoga is superior, or raja yoga is superior. So, like that, even Narada also is trying to tell. Of course, everyone is right from their point of view, no doubt. So, he also says that Bhakti Yoga is independent path. It doesn't depend on anything, any other paths or any other yogas, and it is superior. Now, what should be our point now? Oh, so all the sages are telling this. What should we do then? So, whichever is suitable for you, you can take any path. If you would like to practice Raja Yoga, it suits you if you feel, kindly do it. Someone says, no, Karma Yoga is, I am man of action. Karma Yoga is suitable for me. So I believe in Karma Yoga. Fine, you practice. Someone say, no, I'm intellectual person. So I want to practice Gnana Yoga. Yes, you can reach God or self. Then someone is emotional person and he wants to practice Bhakti Yoga. We can practice and we can reach the God. And Swami Vivekananda makes beautifully. Either by one or two or all of this, one can reach the God, one should manifest the divinity, or one should have self-realization. That's what important. And in the shlokas number 34 to 50, the means for attaining bhakti is discussed in detail. So one is abhyasa, practice, the other is vairagya, giving up. So what should be practiced and what should be given up? All these things has been discussed from shlokas number 34 to 50. First, he says that we should give up the craving for sense enjoyment. We have got so much this sense gratification. We are busy in that. We forget the higher values. We forget the higher truths. We don't have higher ideas, higher thoughts. So we are living at the level of instincts. We are living at the level of sense pleasures. That is nothing but animal life. So we should give up the craving for sense objects or sense enjoyment. Then the next thing is, as much as possible, we should practice the God, presence of God. Brother Lawrence, there's a beautiful book, Practice of Presence of God by Brother Lawrence, who was a Christian saint. So as much as possible in our whole day, day-to-day activities, we should try to remember God time and again. This is to be practiced. Then how can we practice the God's remembrance, God's existence? One is by repeating His name, by trying to visualize His form, by singing His glories, and by listening to His glories, and by thinking about His divine qualities, we can try to remember the God. And also, the author tells one more very important is we should, as much as possible, we should seek the company of the holy people, saints. Why? Because when you are in the holy company, what happens? All your good thoughts, good ideas, good feelings, devotion, everything gets increased, and whatever the unwanted things are there, that slowly it gets reduced. That is the efficacy of the holy company, saints company. So we should seek the holy company. We should try to get their blessings, their grace. So he goes to the extent saying that, holy people's grace and God's grace both are equal. There is no differentiation. If you are getting holy company or holy people's grace, saints' grace means know it for certain that is God's grace only. And next he says, seeking the holy company, seeking the holy people's company is as very important. So we should also try to give up the evil people's company, the people who are thinking wrong, who are always busy in the sense gratification, or who are thinking wrong things, wrong ideas, lower feelings. With such type of people, we should keep ourselves aloof. Otherwise, what happens? He says that probably just like them, anger, infatuation, lustful ideas, then loss of discrimination, loss of remembrance of God. All these things can creep in us also, and our spiritual life and our God centered life can suffer. That's why we have to take care of it. Then, He tells that we should, once in a while, we should try to live in solitude. Maybe we can go to some retreats. Solitude, it doesn't mean that we should go to forest. It means staying with myself. Maybe I may be living in the midst of the city in my own room or in my own house, never mind. But keeping away from the world or away from the people mentally is more important. If possibly physically, fine, but if not, at least mentally we should be keep aloof from all the things, and we should try to dedicate our mind completely either for the higher thoughts, for the acquisition of higher values, or God-centered life, or self-centered life. Means that is the self here means Atman-centered life. Like spiritual centered life, we should try to do. Living in solitude means just keeping aloof, not talking with anyone, and watching a movie or listening some just music. It is not the solitude. Living in solitude means trying to fix one's mind either in the God or in the self. That's what we mean living in the solitude. And as much as possible, we should try to surrender the fruits of action to the Lord. Ishvararpana Buddhi Asharanagati. And giving up the sense of pride and vanity, it is very important. Then only you can be the real devotee. Otherwise, you will lose that spirituality according to the author. Then he says, no vain arguments. Sometimes people are busy in vain arguments so that their mind is disturbed, their faith can be disturbed, their sadhana can be disturbed. So a devotee should take care that he should not get into the vain arguments. And as much as possible, he should try to study the life of saints and devotional scriptures. He should study, he should cogitate, he should reflect upon, and also he should try to remember time and again. And he also should practice higher values like non injury, truth, cleanliness, control of body and mind and senses, and practice, cultivating good values like compassion, etc. All these things has to be practiced. When these 12 or 13 points, when it is practiced, what happens? He will have God realization. By doing all these do's and don'ts, what happens if you ask me? Then author is telling that by that you will have a God realization. God realization means what? You will experience the God. For us, God is intellectual thing today. Oh, God exists because Bible says, or Quran says, or Vedas says, or some other scriptures say, or some saints have said. We keep on quoting, or we have understood. But whereas when you follow all these injunctions given by Narada, celestial sage, then you will have a God realization according to him. And now the question may come, oh, so I'm just little enjoying. What is wrong in that? Of course, there is no wrong in it. Whoever wants to enjoy the worldly pleasures, you can enjoy. But if you think little psychologically, how this world or worldly pleasures will catch us, there's four stages according to me. First stage is, oh, the worldly pleasures, the first time when you start experiencing, you feel that, oh, that is nice. It is very interesting. It is very attractive. First time we feel that. Fine, okay. Then after a couple of times of experiencing, we say, I think it is worth having. Second time, second step, when you keep on enjoying, experiencing that sense pleasures, the second step is, oh, maybe it is worth having. Then third time you feel, I desperately want it. I want it. I need it. Without that, I want it. You feel the fourth step, it is very helplessness. That's where all the problem comes. It is that I cannot survive or I cannot live without it. Why suicide happens, this drug mafia and drug addictions, or liquor addictions, and so many other problems we get into today has become internet surfacing, using social media, mobiles, all these things has been victims present young generation. So this is how it happens, these four stages. First, it is interesting or nice. Second, I think I should have it. Third is, oh, I need it by any cost. Fourth is, without that I cannot live. These are the four different stages how we get attracted and attached and bound, will be bound by these worldly pleasures. We should be careful. By in one and second stage, we can control and we can come out. When you go to the third and fourth stage, then it is very difficult for you to come out. It needs a lot of mental exercise, strong willpower. Then probably it will take some lot of time to get away from these worldly habits. So we have to be careful. Having said this, the sage then he discusses, he classifies bhakti into different categories. Based on gunas, the nature of a person or the qualities, he classifies the devotion into tamasika bhakti, rajasika bhakti, sattvika bhakti. Tamasika bhakti means what? A person doesn't follow any scriptural injunctions. He wants God grace. Why? Because he wants to enjoy the world. Or he wants power, he wants position, he wants name and fame for whatever reason. Oh God, if you, whether you will you give or not, I will shoot myself. If you don't give, I will shoot myself. I will kill myself. Or he doesn't follow any injunctions, he doesn't have purity of mind, he doesn't have purity of thought also, conduct also may not be right, but still somehow he has got a devotion towards the Lord. So he threatens the God and he tries to get whatever he needs. This is a type of tamasika bhakti. The second type of bhakti is called rajasika bhakti. This type of devotees, they try to do a lot of pomp and show. He is meditating, so he sees that at least some people should see that he is meditating. Oh, you are calling that time. Oh, please don't call me. I'm meditating. I will take the phone and say that, oh, I'm meditating. Please don't call, and I will keep it. If you are meditating, why didn't you take the call? Afterwards, you could have said, because he or she wants to show for people that he or she is practicing devotion or spiritual practices. So in the Rajasika Bhakti, the bit purity will be there, sincere devotion will be there, no doubt, but lot of desire for name and fame, power position will be there. So a lot of showiness or pomp and show will be there. In the Satvika Bhakti, he keeps very simple life, pure conduct, pure motive, and he doesn't show himself, he doesn't advertise his spiritual practices. He hides his spiritual practices, and he wants God and God alone. Or at the most, very small, maybe very petty desires, or very few small things can be there, desires or wishes, but he will have a pure life, pure conduct. And this based on gunas, the Narada classifies the bhakti like this. And based on the motives, based on one motive, he also describes and classifies the devotees into three categories. One is artha. Artha means a person who is in difficulties. Since he is facing difficulties, so he prays for God. Oh God, I'm in this such and such a problem, I am such and such a difficulty. Please help me to get rid of this problem, to get rid of these difficulties. Means he wants basically bliss, he wants security, he wants happiness, he wants joy. So he prays for God. Then the second type of devotee is called Jignasu. He wants to know the truth. He believes in knowledge per se. He wants to know the reality behind this world and who nature of God, nature of self, and nature of the world, nature behind the reality. All these things he wants to know. That's the reason he prays God. Please bless on me so that let me know the reality. I want supreme knowledge. And the third person is Artharthi. Artharthi means he wants materialistic progression. He wants name and fame, power, position, worldly riches. He wants to bring a big castle. He wants a BMW car, probably, or he want to become a millionaire or billionaire. He want to be wealthiest person. Even such a person also tries to pray for God and he tries to serve the God, etc., etc. Why? Because he wants worldly riches. So these are the two classifications the author tries to tell. Then, how does the among these three type of devotees, who is good, who is bad? If you ask, then Narada doesn't tell that. So only he classifies or categorizes the devotee based on the motive. But only he tells that if your motives are pure, then the quality of your devotion will be better and you'll be nearer to the God. So motives have to be clean and motives have to be pure. Then your devotion will become superior or better. So that what happens, God centered life, God dependence life will be there, and so that lot of waste of energy, waste of time can be checked, and you'll be able to progress yourself more and more, and you'll be able to do the work constructively. We have got a lot of energy many times. We have got specific tasks. We know what should we do, what should we not do, and we have got specific goals. And we keep trying to do it also because of emotional problems or because of stress and strain and whatnot in the world. We feel that we are weak and we are not able to progress, or we are not able to dedicate our life or our energy and our mind completely to the goal or to achieving the goal. Why? Because of weakness of the mind, because emotionally we are disturbed, mentally we are disturbed, intellectually we are disturbed. So all these disturbed things can be controlled by depending more and more on the God. God can be the best support, God can be the best substratum for us where we can rely upon. When you rely upon the people, people can cheat us anytime. But when you rely upon God, God will never cheat us, God will support us, God will protect us. The more and more you depend on God, then what happens? The more and more you feel you are safe, and the mental worries, mental agonies will be reduced, so that the loss of energy will be reduced, and you'll be able to progress fast, you'll be able to progress quick, and you'll be able to achieve things faster. That's what author tries to discuss, the beauty of God-centered life, God-dependence life. That's the reason the devotee's life is much more safe and much more secure. And probably if you have read Bhagavad Gita, there in the second chapter, Krishna Arjuna asks, you are speaking about the Gnani, Sthita Prajna, who has got the steady wisdom, means who is a realized person, self-realized person. So how does he behave? How does he walk? How does he talk? How is his conduct? He keeps asking. And similarly, ask about the nature of devotee in the 12th chapter. We discuss the Krishna discusses. So similarly, here also, how the devotees see each other if they meet, how they behave. Very interestingly, Narada makes a references to it. He says that when the devotees meet each other, they try to discuss about the Lord, about the nature of the Lord, about his glories, about his divine leelas, and so that their voices get choked. And horripilation with tears, that will be the reaction. Horripilation means romanchana, we say, means because when they hear about the greatness of the Lord and his great qualities and his compassion and his divine grace and his divine leelas, and the hairs will stand on their skin or on their body. That is called horripilation. And unknowingly, tears will be rolling down out of devotion. It is not forced emotion or reactions, rather, it was a natural love. It is a natural reaction because of the divine love. And when the devotees meet each other, they don't speak about the world or worldly affairs, about anything else except God and God alone. So when you go to any saint, when you go to any holy person, most of the time he will be trying to speak about the Lord and about the Lord's glories, or about the spirituality, or about the self, or about the spirit, or about the God and whatnot. You may start with any worldly talk, slowly, they will turn that into the godly talk. Because they have shifted their dependence from worldly dependence to God dependence. Because their life they have made God-centered life. So that by this alone we can understand who is holy, who is unholy, who is a great devotee, and who is not. And after this, he discusses and describes the greatness of the devotee. What is the greatness of devotees? By a person who has practiced this supreme devotion, para bhakti, the where in which family has taken the birth, the family gets blessed. The family feels, the family or family people gets blessed. Probably they will get more and more merits, punya. And because of such devotees, their forefathers, their ancestors, they feel so happy. Oh, in our family, in our generation, or in our family, such and such a great devotee has been born. As a result, they feel blessed, they feel so blissful, they feel happy. And when these devotees visit the holy place, what happens? When we visit holy place, what happens? We feel holy, we feel good, we feel blessed because of that currents. It is scientific, it is because of the tanmatras, we say, because of frequency. When you go on meditating in a particular place for probably few months, what happens? That the good thoughts will be circulating in that area. Any person who goes, and if he can tune his mind bit, he'll be able to easily sit and meditate. That's what happens in any holy place. So when we go to holy place, controlling our mind, practicing spiritual disciplines becomes much more easier, because of that holy currents, holy frequency. So when we go to holy places, our spiritual awakening or our devotion, our good thoughts, holy thoughts gets awakened for some time at least. But when these devotees go to holy places, what happens? They make the holy places holier because of their stay, because of their sadhana, or because of their just mere existence, because of their mere presence, they make the holy places into holier. And if they take a bath in the holy water, what happens? The holy water becomes the holier. When we take a when we bathe in the holy water, what we feel? We feel holy. We feel blessed. We feel happy. Whoever has taken the bath, probably in the Ganges, definitely they will feel. But when the devotees, this such type of devotees, they take a bath in the Ganges, for an example, Mother Ganges she feels that she has become more holier. And the scriptures becomes blessed, it seems. How? Because scriptures gets authority. When these devotees practices spiritual practices, people will understand that yes, this is not hypothetical argument, whatever the scriptural ideas or scriptural text. Rather, it can be practiced and it can be understood and it can be experienced by seeing the devotee's life and practices. Once we feel that, so even the scriptures feel that blessed, and the scriptures become sacred, and all type of materialistic actions becomes spiritual by such type of devotees. And also they say that celestial beings rejoices and they dance, it seems, when they see such holy people. And the mother earth finds that, oh, there one more protector has come on the earth or on me. Because on this earth, thousands of beings, thousands of people are, hundred thousands of people every day they are living. Some are good, some are bad, some are sinners, some are saints, some are mediocre, all these things. But she has to bear everyone's burden. When she is witnesses some holy people, some great devotee, she feels that, oh, these people are, at least they're able to reduce my sin, reduce my burden to certain extent, to uh, such extent possible. And he also makes that among the devotees there are no distinctions, no religious distinction, no caste distinction, no racial discrimination or distinction, not from the economical discrimination or distinction, or social paraphernalia based on that, no distinctions. All the devotees, they may belong to any country, any religion, any creed, any caste, or any society, or any ethnicity, all of them are one. Why? Because they're all by one class, the class called devotees. So the same thing we can see in the life of Holy Mother. When she's in India, in the West Bengal, in the rural background, she comes from there. It happened in 150 years before, around 150 years before. Then this untouchability was very rampant. Whereas Holy Mother, whoever used to come from different parts of West Bengal or wherever, she used to sit, she used to make them to sit one after another, and she used to serve the same plate, the similar, same plantain leaves or same leaves, and same food, everyone. Some of the villagers, they objected. How can you make us to sit with someone who comes from low background or from untouchability? They are from different, they belong to different caste or low caste. We belong to higher caste. How can we sit and eat them? No, we are losing our caste. What you say, they raise an objection. They raised the objection. Holy Mother laughed and said, here, Mother, for me, everyone is children. Devotees doesn't have any caste discrimination. All devotees are same. In front of God, all devotees are same. You may belong to different caste, or he may belong to upper caste, you may belong to lower caste. You belong to some other religion, he belongs to some other religion, he or she. It doesn't make any difference in the eyes of God. So all the devotees are belong to one caste. So there is no distinction, there is no differentiation. So hence I don't make any differentiation. For me, all are children of God. You should sit together and you should eat. Today it doesn't make any sense for us, but 150 years, that was a great revelation, or that was a great transformation, great renaissance even. So all the great people, they never made any distinctions, differentiations based on the geography, country, or caste, or religion, or race. but only we keep on doing it. After this, he makes the author tries to describe 11 types of devotion based on the divine moods. The divine mood is very, very important for all of us. Why? Because that strengthens our relationship between the devotee and the Lord, between me and the Lord. Like I love my mother, father, friend, husband, wife, or the servant or the master. These are the different relationships which we are all experiencing and we are having it. The same relationship, one of the relationship, whichever we like, we can pick up it and we can divinize it towards the God. We are the devotees all worship the Lord, no doubt. We can worship, we can think him in a different moods, no doubt. But one mood, one bhava, we should take it seriously and we should practice in the life, by which our spiritual life, spiritual practices will be more deepened. For example, he says that one is guna dhyana, trying to meditate on the divine qualities of the Lord. In the previous week, I did speak and I did try to explain this how to do guna dhyana on the previous Saturday. And the rupa dhyana, the beautiful celestial form of the Lord, we can try to meditate. Then smruti, remembrance. We should keep on try to remember as much as possible the God. The fourth is dasya bhava, that is the relationship between the servant and the master. The best example is given as Hanuman. Then Sakhya, like Krishna and Kuchela. God is my own friend, like Krishna and Arjuna. I start worshipping the God as my friend. He's my friend. Like that, you start worshipping, you start loving him. Then the Vatsalya. God is my child. Like Yashoda Devi worshipped his own son, Krishna. Similarly, Kausalya Devi, loved the God in the form of the child. So, like that, there are so many saints who have loved or who have who have worshipped the Lord or the God as his or her child. This is called Vatsalya Bhava. Then puja. Someone believes in worship. They try to adore the Lord by offering different materials or offering emotions, offering oneself, offering all whatever exists with him, whatever is his or her, they try to offer. That is called worship. Then one more bhava, which is one of the very superior bhava in the traditional devotional scriptures, that is Madhura bhava. Madhura bhava is like worshipping the Lord as my husband. For example, Mirabai, one of the great saints in the western part of India, she worshipped the Lord as her husband. Then one more is Sharanagati, self-surrender. God is my Lord and I am a servant or I am his uh, disciple or whatever say, as a total surrender. Then Tanmaya, that is complete absorption in God. Then Parama Viraha, that is supreme longing. Oh, I am not able to see the Lord. I'm not able to feel the Lord. I'm not able to experience the Lord. So much yearning for the God and God's vision. We can see in the gopis, or in Sri Ramakrishna's life, or in Radha's life, or in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life, all these things. After this, he ends saying that whoever believes and practices in the teachings of Narada, what happens? He becomes the lover of God. He realizes the God and he becomes the blessed person. Why? Because based on my experience, I'm telling all these things, and also the same ideas has been put forth by the scriptures or it has been put forth by the great saints. So don't think that it is my views, rather it is based on my experience and based on the scriptures and based on the teachings of the great people. I am telling all these things. So whoever practices in the teachings, whatever I have given, you will feel blessed, you will reach the God, you will have a God realization, and you will become the blessed person. You will achieve or you will attain the ultimate goal, that is God realization. So, having said this, at the end, he says that by practicing this, you will reach the God. And he ends his teachings. So, whoever wishes to reach God, whoever wishes to have a God relation, it is best thing for us to practice Narada's aphorisms or Narada's teachings. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.